Hey guys, what's up? It's day 140. This week was Snaptro's launch on Product Hunt, and it did not go so well. Let's recap the launch and talk about what happened. Okay, so first of all, let me share the stats. We got 79 upvotes for the day, and for comparison, Cycle got like 992 when I last checked at that day, and they were the first place winner, so we were pretty far behind. We got 425 visitors to the site. Average time on site was about 3 minutes and 20 seconds, which I think is really good. 35 signups, and I'd say really only of those 35, about 2 people kind of created a real page. Most of the people really just kind of recorded like a test kind of video. We ended up ranked 15 out of 30. So just objectively wasn't a good turnout. I had a bad feeling right in the beginning. So I woke up at 3 or so my time in the morning, because that's when it starts on Eastern time. And the number 1 and 2 and 3 products already had hundreds of votes. So it was kind of doomed from the start. I kind of got that bad feeling on it. But I worked really hard during the day to kind of rile up my base. I was on YouTube live for several hours, so I think I did everything that I could. So I don't 100% love the way Product Hunt works, and the fact that like once you get in those top 5 spots, you kind of just get stuck there because that's what people see. It's kind of like the first page of Google, so that always hurts you. But having said that, the truth is I did get a decent number of visits. 425 visits to the site is a pretty decent amount, and I converted about 8%. The trouble is I only got about 5% of those signups to actually do something real with Snaptro, and that is not a good sign. So I feel like it's really hard to prove the negative. It's hard to say Snaptro is never going to work. I don't think you can say that. But I definitely did not get a positive signal, and I would have hoped to have seen some kind of excitement from that. When I compare this launch to one of my very earlier ones from like 2014, Lukewarm Emailer, that was the second product of the day, like ranked to number 2. When you look at the comments and the upvotes on that page versus what I got today, it's a world of difference. Back then, I got lots of constructive comments. Everything was very organic. I got a lot of good feedback and just good comments, and I feel like this time it was really just my supporters, which was, I love them for that, but I wasn't getting any kind of organic feedback. And that's a little frustrating just from the perspective of, I want Product Hunt to be a testing ground, a validation ground. And I just feel like it's transitioned a little bit from discovery of products to amplification of products that are already doing well or have this like lift to them. That's a little disappointing. Not sure if that's everybody's experience, but it kind of feels like mine at the moment. But it's important to see this for what it is. I do want to make myself feel better. And if you are kind of crushed from a similar situation, I think it's totally fair to kind of lift yourself up a little bit. But the more objective you can be, the better. And I think it's pretty clear to me, I got enough visitors to test this experiment, and it just didn't go very well. I don't like the word fail anymore. I think it's lost all original intent. I think it implies a total disaster, and I think it even carries this connotation that you somehow were the reason that it failed. I think fail should be reserved for when you personally drop the ball, when it's yours to lose and you lose it. To me, that's failing. This was not failing. This was, I worked really hard. I learned a lot. So this was my first YouTube Live. I learned a lot about prepping for that and actually performing a YouTube Live and how hard that kind of is. I feel like the first time you do anything kind of like that, it's scary, and it's nice to have one under my belt. I put an idea out there from start to finish. I made a very polished, the new term that I see going around right now is minimum awesome product, including marketing, screenshots. I picked 3 niches. I had onboarding specific to those niches that you signed up under. I saw how long it takes to do something from scratch to shipping. It took me about 8 weeks plus maybe 1 or 2 to deal with the launch and recover from it. I got a lot of shared infrastructure built and tested, especially if I stay in the video tech kind of space. I got reminded of the cadence of a Product Hunt launch, the amount of work and preparation, the kind of like dead zone when you're waiting for your launch and there's really nothing you can do but wait, and then kind of recovering from afterwards, either, if it goes well, kind of dealing with all of that success, and if it doesn't go well, just kind of picking yourself back up again. And I feel like I shook the dust off. Like, it's been a long time since I've done this from scratch, and so it gave me a chance to kind of flex and exercise, and having something to shoot for really flows those juices. And after I recover from, not doing well, I feel like I'm going to be in a much better mindset. Starting a startup kind of feels like moving to a new school or going to college. Before you go, you have all these theoretical feelings, thoughts, worries, and hopes. And until you ship, you don't escape that theory mindset. On the first day of school, you don't know the history, the clicks, you don't know where the cafeteria is, but then pretty soon you feel like you own the place. So getting something into the actual world is a really important milestone. I'm happy to have done it with Snaptro and to have done it, fairly quickly. So at the end of the day, I wasn't feeling super great, just kind of disappointed. So I gave myself all of Wednesday to just work on whatever I wanted and to just let the creative freedom flow. And that made me feel a lot better. So now the question is, where do we go from here? What's next? If you check out my video from a couple weeks ago, I had about 3 scenarios mapped out for this. I had the best case scenario, I had the medium case scenario, and I kind of had the weak performance scenario, which we have certainly fall under. And in that case, my plan was not to continue with Snaptro, not set up the payment system, just leave it for now and we can always come back to it. We've got a nice property out there. People can still sign up for it. We can still see this thing grow and maybe make something of it. But right now, let's shift focus. So then what should I be doing? It's always good to keep the train momentum going. I don't like to slow down or stop. It's good to take breaks, but I got to keep moving forward. I had 3 ideas listed in one of my last videos for potential side projects that came out of the process of shipping Snaptro. One was the event page that I created that let people share a link to basically save this event to your calendar. The other one was an onboarding checklist for hiring people and having like a well-researched checklist of things to bring them on for. And another one was customer interviews that are async, that are video-based. And then the other idea is going back to New Teammate. And I like that idea, but this experience of putting Snaptro out there has kind of showed me that New Teammate is still too much of a want. I gotta flip it over to a need and get a little more urgency behind it so that people have a very strong, compelling reason to sign up. The feedback that I always got on New Teammate, and I continue to get, is that it might be more impactful at the hiring process instead of after you've already hired somebody. So helping companies put their best face forward in attracting talent. So that's something I'm really interested in right now, and I'm going to explore this a little bit. We're going to see where this goes because I feel like there's more of an urgency, there's more of a need here. So a little bit up in the air right now. I'm going to have this figured out soon, but that's the space I'm exploring, and we're going to see where we're going next. So for those of you who are brand new to my channel, first of all, hello. I'm really happy to have you. I hope everybody can take a minute and check out my live from the Product Hunt launch this Tuesday that I did. I think it's pretty interesting. It's a little bit long, so you might not watch the whole thing, but and ignore the beginning when my iPad was trying to be my second monitor and it froze on me, and then ignore the fact that I wasn't sharing my screen when I thought I was for the first 5 minutes. I think it's a pretty good session, and I gave a recap of my journey from start to where I am today. So if you are just joining me, that might be a really good way to catch up if you're interested in doing that. Okay, so that's the end of this week. It's really was just recovering from this Product Hunt launch and trying to figure out what to do next. To all of you guys who were out there helping me and upvoting and giving feedback, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I'm gonna keep needing it, so don't go anywhere. And this is just the beginning, so let's see where this takes us.